Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a highlighting palette review. This is a brand new palette that just launched from VOSS. It's called their Rose Gold palette. The packaging is stunning. They look stunning inside. They have a peachy tone, pink shifts. These are duochrome and metallic. That's how they describe them on the website. I will get into all the information, but this is what it looks like inside. So if you want to know more about what I think, we're going to try this on the face. We're going to go over price, how much you get, and the swatches, then please keep watching. The cost of the palette is $45 and it does come in packaging like this. So it's the same print. It's so stunning, I have to say. Comes in a box like this, and this is the actual packaging. It is very heavy and very sturdy feeling. It doesn't feel cheap at all, but I will say for travel it's a little bit bulky. So if you plan on traveling, it's quite a big palette. You do get a lot of product though, so I think that's kind of the goal. But I think it's so beautiful with this silver Violet Voss Pro Highlight Rose Gold written on there. This palette does come with a mirror, as you can see. I don't want to blind you guys on film, but it is a pretty big mirror. And then you do get 6 pans. These are pretty big and they are square in shape. The main difference that I wanted to mention is you get a ton of product. So if I wanted to kind of compare this to an Anastasia Moonchild kit, I know this is a smaller of them, but this is the one that I have on hand. Obviously it's a lot bigger, but really if you look at the amount of product, it's a big difference. This entire palette has 4.2 grams of product, which is really not much at all. This palette has 66. 66, 4.2. 66, 4.2. 6 pans in each palette, so these are way, way bigger. I compared them to the Jeffree Star Cosmetics highlighters, and one of these highlighters is 15 grams, which is really big, a really big size. These are about 11 grams each. So they're on the size of like a Jeffree Star one, very similar, not quite as large, but obviously this is a palette. So $45 and you get 66 grams, which is a ton of product. So I want to show you swatches on the face. I'm going to apply a couple colors. I'm going to start out with the color Bloom. This is the most kind of typical or mainstream color. This is like a light champagne color. Now they do describe these as metallic or duochrome, so we'll see as we go. But this is the first shade. I will say the texture feels very powdery. I feel like with duochromes though, it's one of those things where you kind of have to meld them in the skin to get them to show that glow, and I feel like you can see a little bit better there. I'm going to go ahead and use a fan brush from Morphe. This is the M601. It's just a typical fan brush. We're not going to use any water or anything, and we're just going to dip into the palette. Now these are powdery. There is some kick up, which I want to note that, but I don't necessarily see glitter, so I'm hoping that these will be just a really metallic kind of formula. My first impression is that is beautiful. Woo! I'm gonna add a little bit more. Gorgeous. I felt like I was gonna really like this palette. I like Violet Voss products typically. Woo! I mean, that's no water, no nothing. So let's go ahead and try water. Why not? I'm gonna use the Gerard Cosmetics Watermelon. I'm just gonna give my brush a spray, maybe 2 sprays, and we're going to see how this applies with a damp brush. So I dipped back into the product and we're going to apply. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Wow. Oh, I love this. Okay, so I'm blown away. Like I said, there's a little bit of powder kickback, but nothing too crazy, just a little bit. So it is a powder formula. It's not like one of those Estee Lauder Heat Waves. This is just true powder formula. These remind me of the Jeffree Star, the way that they're applying and the texture. Just very similar, a little bit more powdery than the Jeffree Star, but quite metallic, and like I feel like these could be used on the lid. These are just they're a powder formula. You can tell that they're powder. Now that we've tried the first shade, I'm in love with it, but let's go into Floor. This is like a pinky. This one looks like it's probably a duochrome. So again, when you swatch it, it kind of looks lackluster, but when you blend it out, I feel like that's when you start to get that kind of glowy light look to it. So this one is definitely darker. I would say a lot of these are going to be for a medium skin tone or deeper. I don't know how much use you can get out of them if you're really fair. I think the only one that you might be able to use is Bloom. I'm going to try it on the cheeks and we'll see what it looks like. I've wiped my brush off, so I'm just going to go into the shade Floor, and we're just going to pack that on my brush. And oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Like, I love pink highlights, so let's see what it looks like on the face. try it wet. We're gonna go ahead with our Gerard Cosmetic Spray. I love that shade. It's so stunning. It's really wearable and it's not as dark as I anticipated, but it is pink toned, so it's like a light pink tone. I'm now going to go into rouge. Now this one seems more on the peachy side, whereas Fleur was more of like a pink shift. This one seems like a true orangey peach. Again, it looks okay, kind of powdery, and then when you blend it out, you've got that kind of kickback or that glow that's really going to get you that peachy glow. I'm going to apply this on this side, and I'm just going to, you know what, actually I think I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this because I want to be able to apply as much as I can. I'm gonna try to apply it over on this side and just see what it looks like when we build it with the other color. I think I'm going to take rouge and I'm going to try this on my Cupid's bow. Why not? I feel like at this point I just have to kind of try all the areas that I can. So I'm just getting a little bit on my brush as I normally would. Okay, so you can definitely see it gives you a nice peachy glow. It's sort of hard to see on the Cupid's bow, but I don't know where else I could apply it. So definitely like this one. I want to say these two are my favorites right now though. The peachy one is pretty. I feel like it would be pretty on the cheekbones, but I don't really know how I would layer that. Next up, we have the shade Petals. Petals looks like it's the deepest. It looks like a deep kind of bronzy gold color. So I'm going to blend it out. Yeah, it's just like a typical gold. A little bit deeper though, so I feel like you'd have to be medium or tan to wear this one. I'm going to take this one and try to apply it down the center of my nose. So I'm just going to take a Morphe brush, and this is really powdery, really pigmented, so you probably want to use a light hand, and I'm just going to apply this down the center of my nose. Oh yes. That is pigmented. I feel like somewhat of like a highlighting Rudolph right now, but stunning, stunning, stunning. You can see it's not too dark. I feel like it translates. It almost reminds me of like the Makeup Geek highlighters. They look really dark in the pan, and then when you kind of meld them out, they kind of get like the Kathleen Lights palette where they look deeper in the pan, but when you kind of shear them out, they work. And oh my gosh, so pretty, so intense. I'm really liking that one. Now I'm going to move on to Tea Rose. Now Tea Rose looks like a true rose gold to me. It looks almost like a bronzy rose color, but it definitely has that gold shift you can see there. I'm going to go ahead and try to apply this to this side of my face. I'm just going to build it up, and then we're going to use the last shade on the other side because why not? So I'm just going to go in with my brush, and we're just going to pick up some of the product. This one I love, love, love. Really pretty. I feel like in the pan you'd be scared of it. You could also use this as a blush topper, but I mean, I feel like I'm super, super glowy right now. Probably more so than I typically am. So if you love that metallic in your face highlighter, you're gonna freaking die over this palette. Now we're moving into the last shade. This is called Blossom, and this one looks almost just like a kind of mid-tone pinky color. There's definitely a gold or rose gold shift obviously, but it's hard to describe because in the pan it just looks almost like a mauve-y pink. I wiped my brush off, and now I'm just going into the pan, and we're just going to go on the other side of my face. So I feel like I'm glowing to the high heavens at this moment. I love, love, love this. The colors are stunning. So now I'm going to give you my overall thoughts of the palette. So my overall thoughts of the palette is a huge thumbs up. This is a stunning palette. This will be for the people that want that crazy highlight. If you like a natural highlight, I would skip this palette. This is very powdery but very intense. This reminds me of Jeffree Star Cosmetics highlighters, which I know a lot of people love because they are so blinding. This is that same texture, same formula. They really do feel very, very similar. So if you like that, maybe you don't like the colors that he provides and you want more of like pinky tones, this is your ticket. It's so beautiful. You get a ton of product for the money. $45, but you get so much product. I don't even know how you could ever go through all of this. I love this. This brand is a really cool brand too. I've been really impressed with their eyeshadows and their eye glitters and their lipsticks. So they really are a well-rounded brand, and I really love supporting indie brands or brands that aren't sold in Sephora and things like that. So if you're on the fence about this palette, I say go for it. Don't wait. It's so stunning, and for the spring and summer, it's going to give you that really sun-kissed glow. Now I will say that these do accentuate texture, so if you don't like that and you're very picky and you feel like you have texture or acne scarring or anything that you want to not bring attention to, then obviously this is not going to be the palette for you. But if you're one of those people that's like, fuck it, I only live once and I want to look like a blinding gold goddess, then you're going to want this palette. So absolutely approve. I love, love, love this. This is a favorite release of mine. Like, from all the new makeup I've gotten recently, this is really like one of the top ones. It's blowing my mind how beautiful it is. So I say it's a go. Get it. You need it. It's gorgeous. Alright guys, so that's it for me and my review on the Violet VOSS highlighting palette. Hopefully I gave you some insight and made your decision whether you'd like to purchase or not. Let me know what products you want me to review, and I'm going to continue to do these try on first impression reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.